Hey, greetings, friends. Jacque Howard here, and thank you once again for taking any of your time to spend it with me as I do my best to introduce you to humans who I admire, who are doing some wonderful things, not only in their particular fields, but just in humanity in general. I'm going to be bringing Brishen Miller on in just a moment from Passage Theater, but before we do that, I want to encourage you, excuse me, to grab a writing utensil, make some notes, take down some information, find out how you can get involved in what this nonprofit organization is doing at the lead of Brishen as well as others, and then find out how you can participate. Maybe you can participate by coming to an event, which is always awesome for the tourism in Trenton. But besides that, if you can't, and maybe you're not in this region, you could always call over to the theater and say, hey, look, I want to make a donation and I'd like to buy a block of tickets or something like that. So someone who is less fortunate can get an opportunity to experience live professional theater in a cozy, historic space. With that being said, I'm bringing on Brishen Miller. Brishen, thank you so much for any and all of your time. I know we're just came out of the holiday season. Passage had an amazing year. Lots was going on, and I know we'll touch on that a little bit later. But I think that it's really important for people to know a bit more about you. And I say a bit more about you because the little bit that I know is stimulating and exciting. So I want to make sure that some other folks get a chance to know you as well. So I'd like for you to, in your own way, sort of announce yourself to the Trenton 365 region.
Sure, Jacques. Thank you. I was speaking recently with a local friend of the theater artist we work with about that everyone has a unique story. Everyone has every no one story looks like anyone else. So when you actually delve into them, you learn a lot. So thank you for that opportunity. Um, I'm originally from Michigan. Um, a town called Kalamazoo, halfway between Chicago and Detroit, about 2 hours from each. And it is a town the size of Trenton, but has about 13 working theaters. So it is a very big theater town for its size. So theater began. I gained an interest at a young age in theater and started to pursue it as a career. I got my bachelor's in Detroit at Wayne State in '07. And went back to my hometown and helped found and produce a theater called Fancy Pants Theater, which ran for about 5 years before we lost our venue and we kind of went remote. Um, we were the plucky, edgy theater for the younger crowd. So we did a lot of play festivals, a lot of social commentary on current events. We did things like Cannibal the Musical. We had a Facebook musical. We were the theater that got all of the big stuffy Shakespeare theaters in town angry. And we had a great time. Nobody made any money, and we eventually ran out and had to go dark. But it was a wonderful experience. And it showed me that this is the best thing I do. And so I may as well make it an actual profession as opposed to a very large hobby because and what I learned after a little bit of research that working professionally in theater is possible in numerous parts of the country, just not every part of the country. So I started to look into regions that saying if I'm going to pursue this into something that where it can support me and my family, I need to relocate to specific areas. And I chose Philadelphia because it had a upstanding graduate program I can take at Villanova and about 25 or more professional working theaters in the Philly region. And so I figured that once I got that graduate degree, I could gain work. And so I did go to Villanova and got my master's in theater in 2018. And then I freelanced for a year, working about 6 different jobs, as any artist knows how you have to keep several jobs freelancing. You know, even some of the most even some of the best working actors and stage managers will regularly book 6, 7 jobs a year to stay afloat in freelancing. And then I had done a little bit of producing at my work at Villanova, and an opportunity arose at Passage Theater through a professor at Villanova had contacts with Ryan Dominguez, the current artistic director at Passage, and they needed a production manager at the time. It was a part-time position before I was hired, so I was Passage's first full-time production manager. And I said, okay, let me get off stage for a moment, focus on my backstage capabilities, and take something more regular. And this was the summer of 2019. In case anyone's wondering, about a month into working, I broke my legs falling down the stairs outside the courtyard right outside the theater, and so I was off my feet for about 3 months. And then we did a couple small shows. And then shortly thereafter, March of 2020 happened to everyone. So I never really got. We then were remote and had a virtual season, and I needed to learn all new skills of producing virtual theater. And Passage did numerous really quality virtual works. Some of the patrons who did see them say they were of the best virtual theater they saw nationally. And so we were very proud of our virtual season, even though it was not as well attended as we would have liked. But we couldn't expect that. It was a brave new world for everyone. So when everyone's at home, we're competing with Netflix and ESPN and everything else.
Yeah.
So when you don't have the live theater magic to attract everyone. Uh, so that was a challenging time. But once we got back to live, I didn't really start to though I'd been working with the company, I didn't really start to learn Trenton until the summer of 21, I would say, until I really started to get to know the people and the places and the history, just because I did about 8 months and then we all went remote. Uh, and so shortly after Passage came back to working in person, the summer of 21, the managing director, Damian Paran, stepped down, and the company was without a managing director for about 6 months. In that time, I decided that I'd take a swing at it, that I may as well, if we're not finding someone, I may as well try and be that someone. Um, and so I was promoted into the managing position January 1st of last year. So I've just eclipsed my first year as managing director at Passage. Learning a lot and working for theater in a very different capacity in terms of more of the business side. So whereas production manager, I'm mainly charged with gathering the technical aspects, the lighting, the sound, the actors, overseeing the actual day to day what runs a production and the facilities of the Mill Hill Playhouse, and making sure all of that operates smoothly. But as managing director, I'm seeing the business of the theater, so our connections with larger companies, all of our fundraising efforts going in, all of our payment efforts going out. We have a new ticketing platform, we have a new donation platform. So some of those things, if you go to our website, do look a little different. So a lot of systems maintenance and overseeing things that run smoothly, but also interfacing with yourself and other community organizations to try and get the word out about the company as much as possible. We're partnering right now with Rider University to put on our newest musical, Clean Slate, by David Lee White and Kate Brennan, an exciting new musical that you can see both at Rider University and Passage. So that is an example of something that takes a good level of coordination and pres and trying to show the best face for the company. Um, we recently, as of last year, got signs on the Mill Hill Playhouse at Say Passage Theater, and the third sign on the largest side of the building that faced the park just got installed a couple of days ago. Thanks to Zinowitz Signs and Aisles. Here, let me make sure I have this right, because it was a specific program.
And while you're looking that up, Hub 13 was also a beneficiary of that project as well. So shout out to
Oh,
the city of Trenton and the city of Trenton, Isles, I
yes.
believe is a part of it, and all the work that so many folks are doing in the Trenton Downtown Association, trying to move the city to a space where all of us are, progressing, getting better.
Yes, it was the Downtown Trenton Neighborhood Preservation Program that got the funding for our last and largest sign on the building. So it's really nice to be in the park on a cool day and see the lights up at night and see so clearly that that the Mill Hill Playhouse is the home of Passage Theater right there on the signs. And also what people may not realize that the existing stone Gothic church that houses the Playhouse is now 150 years old. The Church of the Messiah that was the original building of which the stone still stands was built in 1873, and here we are in 2023, so it is 150 years old. So we'll be doing more with that in the coming year. Uh, Also with the through Isles and the downtown neighborhood preservation program, we're working on possibly getting better use out of the amphitheater right around the corner in the Mill Hill Park. So Passage has done a reading in the amphitheater the past 2 summers before a workshop reading before our main stage productions. We did the OK Trenton project in the summer of 21, leading up to that full stage production last February. And then just this last summer in 22, we did a reading of Clean Slate, ramping up for this full main stage program. So we would like, if resources maintain, we'd like to keep that a a a standard practice that we always do something in the summer in the amphitheater. But with we're working on making, maybe I can't speak to details, but making the amphitheater more appealing and attractive, and getting more things there, even whether they're passage things or whether they're other things, just because uh, live outdoor entertainment is you got to take advantage of the summer in our facilities when you can, because there's nothing like it. It's always a really great event. uh Shout out to Reggie Hallett at 1911 Smokehouse. They brought the food truck over for our last event. We hope to keep that as a regular practice. uh
Brishen, I'm going to jump in here because you've touched on so much that I think is critical to this. And I just got this idea of like this sphere of what you are, like all this theater, this professional acumen, and being here in Trenton. And now it's like, oh, people know who Brishen is now. So now it's like, all right, cool. That cup is now spilling out a little bit. So you touched on some of what's happened in 2022, and since you've been a part of Passage, and you've gave a shout out to our previous leadership and Ryan as well, and talk about the relationships that you've formed since you've been at Passage, and what it's been like to be here in Trenton, because oftentimes people have this, they hear certain things about Trenton, but then when they get into it, they're like, wow, this is something totally different. Can you just talk about the relationships and what it's been like for you personally coming into Trenton?
oh, okay. So uh yeah. Give me a second. That's a little that's a bit to digest. But I do once I was able to move to the area and live nearby the Playhouse, I was excited to get in touch with the local community and build a lot of relationships. There are sorry, I'm fumbling a bit, a bit for that. But for example, we partner a lot with Artworks right across the way. So we now share we have the same marketing person, and we're also looking to uh, partner with a lot of their events in the summer in terms of their summer classes, and also in the first Friday of each month that happens at Artworks and Passage and various other events, various other venues in the city. So we try to coordinate that so that people on Fridays have so that downtown becomes a little more vibrant. I would say that the city of Trenton has been a great help and relationship. Since I've joined, I'm really happy we've solidified that partnership, and through the mayor and the Department of Natural Resources and Public Recreation, we do have regular community policing patrolling our events to make sure parking and facilities and everyone is safe. We were fortunate enough to get a grant through the city and have numerous friends on the new city council. So the relationships are very strong there. Passage has a podcast, The Rite of Passage, with Frank Sasso at New Pod City. So stay tuned for an episode coming out later in February, uh, talking about Clean Slate. So that partnership has been stronger. We all of our opening nights end up at the Mill Hill Saloon. So shout out to Amanda and everyone there. We
Yes.
For Blues in My Soul, we had a special Lonnie Johnson cocktail based off of the work in the play and a few lines in there. So that was a fun little thing that we regularly do. The lobby club is also reached out to us, and we have membership there so that our patrons can have dinner on Friday nights before shows. So that is a partnership we're very happy for to extend, so that there is food and activity before you come to an event at Passage. So there are a lot of really nice relationships I'm happy to have build and help build for the company. Not to mention Trenton 365 and yourself, and to have this going, and also in addition to Rider University, which we have several interns through who have come through Passage and graduated on to be professional theater artists in their own right, as well as co-producing this production. But I myself am also now an adjunct professor at Mercer County Community College. So we hope to bring plenty of students from the community college, both to the campus, the James Kearney campus right downtown, but also to Passage Theater downtown to engage with more plays, more of our programming and events, and to hope to keep those pipelines open. Uh,
I want to
for
interrupt you here. I want to
Sure,
interrupt you
sure.
for a quick second here, Brishen. Sounds to me like you got some community organizing training in you as well. Got all the institutions, all the higher learning institutions connected. Man, that's a blessing. And I think that that's more of what we need to do when we're thinking about building. How can we get more and more people involved in all this? And my page is filling up with all the names that you shared and the partnerships and relationships. And to me, that's obvious how we get more and more things done by having more and more partners who maybe have a different skill set, different eyes on things, etc. And now you're merging the behind the scenes on stage with the business side of it. I think it's developing an interesting type of an acumen. And I say that because I believe there's a lot of young people who have an interest in art and in performing arts at times. And I'm not sure if they really know that there's opportunities for careers like the one that you've developed. Can you touch on that a little bit, just so that some of the folks who may be in a situation where they're trying to think, do I want to do this or I want to do that? Just about the opportunities in arts in general.
Yes, yes. Well, uh, what you don't realize until you've actually worked in the industry for a while is that for each product, whether it be a painting or a play or a song or a dance or whatever it is, there is the performer or the artist that you see, but behind them is a small village that it took to get that out there. So just because you see a dancer or a singer or an actor, there were numerous other jobs and trades needed to make that happen. Uh, so, the Capitol Philharmonic has booked the Playhouse this weekend for a show this Sunday. And you will come into the show and you'll see the musicians on stage and the people of the Philharmonic. But we have staff members right now arranging the lobby and making sure, checking, working the lighting systems. Making sure that tickets can be sold. There are numerous careers even in just theater, outside of actor. So if you can take it from its smallest cell. The rehearsal room has actors, stage managers, and directors, and they go through the whole rehearsal process. But on the back end, there are about 5 or 6 designers, whether it's a costume designer or a scenic designer, who are making designs, and behind them there are technicians. Someone has to build the sets, someone has to sew the costumes, someone has to work the sound programming to create the sound effect and tweak the speakers. We regularly partner with Exit 7A Studios right down the street for our sound, for example. And so, if we do that, Scott Miller will also bring a whole team of 3 to 4 people who are just focused on sound in that case. And that's just the production people, not to mention the front of house people who sell the tickets, who do the marketing and outreach to go out into the community and build the bridges to say, hey, we are doing a show built for teens who are in crisis and need some support. So we'll talk to the Boys and Girls Club, and we'll talk to Task, and we'll talk to various different groups. We'll of course talk to aisles, and so someone actually has to do that outreach. And so then, if there are educational offerings, you also need teaching artists to go into Trenton Central High and Hedgepeth Middle School for the Arts, and to have these teaching artists who have the ability to act and perform and direct, but also to reach a classroom of public school students to make sure the themes of the play before and after the show are understood, and that they have these skills for a newer generation. And so, of course, someone has to organize those teachers. That's where education directors come in. So we have a studio school. We have on-camera technique. We have a film class taught by Joanna Tolentino, where she is teaching you how to audition specifically for film, and how to get an agent, and how to break into that region, because film acting and stage acting are very different animals. You use the same skill set, but in very different ways. And so she is teaching a class on that, but for that class to run, that class needs to be organized and set up by people. There need to have systems in place to make sure all of the students are supported and the word gets out to the students. So, for example, right here I have on my desk flyers for our next show. And this is a marketing piece that was designed by Kara, our marketing associate. But we have to go through and check all of these sponsors and all of the donors. So there's a whole team of people, who copyright this, and then it gets sent off to Mercer Digital for printing, and they have a whole team. So they, once you start with a piece of art, there are so many different fields around it that you could get involved in. And we're very excited over last summer to have partnered with IELTS to have an internship program where one of the interns who graduated is now regularly on our overhire staff. So shout out to James Downing and all of his family and crew, because we're very happy to have not only had opportunity for interns, but to employ them, once when we have work available. And so yes, we do have classes if you're looking to expand and get better artistry, so that one day you would have the resume and the confidence to audition yourself. But alternatively to that, there are plenty of jobs needed that are fulfilling and rewarding and provide a skill set to where you can work in the field for quite some time.
So, Brishen, as usual, I'm being educated and I'm getting excited about all this, and my time is running out. But that's why I tell folks to grab a writing utensil, write some things down, and take notes like I do, so that you can go back to them. But most importantly, you can connect with Brishen and you can connect with Passage Theater. Brishen, can you please take a minute or two and just make that appeal to those who are going to listen and hear this about how they can partner with you, partner with Passage Theater to bring arts to more people. And if they want to share their time, talent, and treasures, how they can do that.
Yes. So we the so art is a vital and valuable resource to the community, both for young and old. And so please come out to our productions. Visit passagetheater.org, or our follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get updates on our recent events. We would love to fill the Playhouse anytime we have shows. Clean Slate runs at Passage the weekend of March 10th. You can see the show at Ryder the weekend of February 24th, and we look for as much. We want to spread the word as much about our programming as we can. A note about our annual benefit fundraiser which will be March 24th, is going out soon. You can always visit our website, and we are happily accepting any donations. To donate at the top, uh, uh, a theater like us only takes about 10% of its income through ticket sales. So are gracious for any donations. Any larger sponsors where you would like to partner with Passage in bigger ways, please contact me directly. My number is you can call it anytime. My number is right on the website if you click on the staff directory. We if you are interested in group sales, you could also call my number or the box office. We want to you that's ticketing at passagetheater.org. That is the site to message for group sales, to get your groups out to the Playhouse. If you are interested in volunteering, please visit our website for volunteer opportunities. All of our ushers and our concession stand people and our will call people are all volunteers. Passage has volunteers that have been working with us for long before I moved to Trenton, but also volunteers that just started this year. And so we're happy to accept any volunteer opportunities. There are plenty of ways to partner with the theater. So please visit our website and contact us for more. And also, um, um, the Douglas House right next to the Playhouse is our office, and from 10 to 6 we're usually there. So you can ring the bell, and we'll be able to help you out and talk to you about anything the theater has.
Fantastic. Hey, Brishen, unfortunately, again, we got to cut this out because of time. But as always, it's awesome to chat with you and to hear so much about what's happening at Passage and to share about what's coming up in the future. And also that you provide this opportunity to let other people know that they can do more in theater. There's a spot for everybody in theater and the importance of it. Looking forward to seeing you again in person, friend.
Yes, you as well, Jacque.
Awesome. And there you have it, folks. Another opportunity for you to reach out and connect with some amazing humans. That's the best way that I can put it, who were doing things to make an impact, not only in the lives of the local community, but beyond that, especially with technology and all these other things. Get in touch with them, passagetheater.org, and that's the fancy way to spell theater. I'm Jacque Howard. Remember, it's always about justice, peace, and humility.